Welcome to SIPA conference. I have the distinct pleasure of welcoming Mr. Vijay Advani. He is the Vice President at Franklin Templeton. Vijay, welcome.
Thank you.
You're the right person to ask this on the broader implications of where the economy is heading.
Well, I think we have to take a step back before we declare doom and gloom. We've been there before. I think things have been tough. I mean, in '87, we've seen the stock market decline over 23% in one day. I think the numbers look bigger today because the Dow is and the S&P are higher absolute numbers. In 74, 75, we've seen a bear market that was in excess of 43%. This was during the Vietnam War. So we've been there before, and I think yes, things are severe. I think this is the first time you've seen a global impact. It's not just curtailed to the U.S. And fortunately for us, we're seeing the various governments across the world taking a synchronized view on trying to address this. But it's going to be a long term. This is not going to be resolved over the next few months. It's not going to be a V-shaped recovery or even a U-shaped recovery. It's going to be much longer. Our view is that it will probably be another 18 to 24 months before you see real change taking place. Whole economy needs to deleverage, and basically what the government is doing is taking on the debt on its balance sheet. It's the only balance sheet that can borrow today, and then allowing the deleveraging of the industry to take place over time. So it's going to be long and tough, but we've been there before, and I have full confidence that we'll come out of this better.
If I may ask you to focus a little bit on the fund industry itself, a lot of people have investments there, and most of them are taking your view. They want to ride through this. Can you elaborate a bit on that?
Yeah, and if you're an investor, I'll give you a statistic. After the Depression in 1925, $1,000, that would be worth over 2.6 million today. So if you do take the long-term view, I know many of us have lost anywhere between 30 and 50% over the last few months in their 401k, in their net worth. But you have to stay the course. Equity markets have proven that they are the best hedge against inflation. But you're going to see more pain over the next 18 months. And the only way to get out of this probably is to be thoughtful in your asset allocation and slowly dollar cost average come back in on a gradual basis, so you can lower your cost base and look at this market next 3, 4, 5 years. If you need the cash today or over the next 6 months or 8 months, only then I would recommend that people liquidate their portfolio and actually crystallize their loss. But otherwise, if you have time on your side, I think that's the way to do it.
At good times, it's a very attractive proposition to venture into this industry. As youngsters from college graduate and people want to transition from other industries to this. And in downturn, people kind of shy away from it. Is this a good time for people to be looking into this industry?
I think it is. This environment makes me extremely excited. I am very, very bullish about the industry over the long term globally. Very simply, I'll just go through 3 or 4 big points. You're seeing privatization of the pensions in Latin America. Chile was the first country that privatized its pensions. You're seeing the growth of the middle class in Latin America. Latin America never had a middle class. They had the very rich that had accounts in Miami, and then the very poor. Because of NAFTA, you're seeing that change. Europe, you're seeing open architecture where banks are offering a variety of financial solutions, third-party products to their citizens. And if you extrapolate what happened in the US in the 70s and 80s, we're going to see a large sum of money move away from banks. You're seeing the convergence of Eastern Europe, a large percentage of people, hardworking, who relied on the government for their long-term pension, now getting into the industry. You're seeing pension reforms in Italy, Germany, Spain, all the southern countries where you have a declining population. Asia, you're seeing the same story, pension reforms in Korea, in Hong Kong, and in Singapore. In India, we are talking about that now. You're seeing a growth of the middle class in India and their aspirations. So across the globe, every single government is maybe taking 2 steps forward, 1 step back, but the direction is the same. So if you're in the fund management industry, or even in the technology industry that supports this fund management, you can't but be excited about the long-term prospects of this industry.
I think we'll take a question from the audience. Ruby is very active with SIPA, and she's been emceeing the event. So if you have a question, shout it out.
Actually, yes, I was at your keynote, and I thought it was very interesting that it all ties down to innovation. Did you want to shed more light on how to evolve?
Yeah, it's all about reinventing yourself as an individual and reinventing yourself as an industry. Because if you don't do that, you will get cannibalized. And I think that's a mantra I tell my kids, I tell myself, I tell my firm, that it cannot be business as usual. And so one thing where technology will play a very, very critical part, and especially the social network and this whole Web 2.0, because you can have a situation where a German is married to an Italian and wants to buy land or property or some stocks or bonds in Korea. And even if they're living in the US and they go to their local advisor, they would have no clue how to transact that, what are the tax implications, what are the capital gains laws in Korea for a German citizen who's a green card holder, so on and so forth. And I think this whole social network of advisors and localizing the solution is going to play a bigger and bigger role, where it's not going to be one size fits all. And so we'll all have to be thinking global but acting local, providing local solutions and customized solutions for our client base. So I think technology will be the driver for our industry.
Thank you much for the opportunity. Appreciate that much.
Thank you. Nice to be here.